Hello, Miss Steele here. This week we are talking about patterns. So today we're going to be making our own dogs in pattern sweaters. And they're going to be dachshunds, those kind of long, skinny dogs. So for this project, you want a piece of colored paper. This is going to be our sweater that we're going to design with all different kinds of patterns. You want another colored piece of paper, and this paper is going to turn into our dachshund. So we're going to draw and cut it out of here. So I have two pieces of colored paper, one for my dog and then one for the sweater that they're going to be in. You want something to color in with. I have crowns and markers, but you can use what you have. You want a pencil and an eraser, and then you want scissors and glue because we're going to be cutting and gluing. And then I have these two papers, which are different patterns. So I am going to set these over here so I can keep an eye if I need some pattern inspiration. And I'm going to start with my dog's sweater. So I'm going to decorate this entirely with patterns so then I can cut it out to turn it into my sweater. So I want to include 3 different patterns. I think I'm going to make it kind of striped. So you can start with drawing with your pencil, but I'm going to go straight in with my markers, and I'm going to start my pattern. So a pattern is any line or shape or color or design that repeats itself again and again and again. So I'm going to start with making a pattern that's going to be a bumpy line like this. And then I'm going to add in more patterns in behind. So by drawing these bumpy lines right next to each other, that could be my first pattern. I want you to try at least 3 different patterns, but if you want to make even more patterns, you can definitely do that. Then maybe one right here on the end, maybe one right here on this end. Then I'm going to color it in with a different color just to kind of spice it up and make it a little bit different. So I'm going to work on getting this colored in, and then I'm going to add my next pattern to my sweater. So once I get this colored in, we will work on our next pattern. So now I have one pattern, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to start adding in different patterns. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add a pattern here and here, and then different patterns in here and here. I could even do 4 different patterns in here if I wanted to. So I think right here, I'm going to add in some stars, and that's going to be my second pattern. So I'm repeating the same shape for this pattern. I think for this one, I'm going to do a pattern and I'm going to make it stripes, and I'm going to use my crowns for this. Now I'm going to add in this color, then I'm going to go back and add in another color, and that's going to make a pattern for me. So you want to try at least 3 different patterns, but I'm going to try more than that, just because I like to be a little extra sometimes and add in more. So I have that color that I used. Now I'm going to use a different color and come in here, and I'm going to add zigzags. And that is a whole nother pattern for me. So my stripes could be a pattern, my zigzags could be a pattern, so I am now at 4 patterns because I have these, my stripes, and now my zigzag lines. So I'm going to go through and finish this. And I'm going to add in patterns in these 2, and then we'll move on to our next step. Okay, so I ended up with a lot of different patterns on here. You want to try at least 3 different patterns, but I'm going to set this aside, and this is going to turn into my dog sweater in the end. But I do not need these, and now I need to grab my colored paper. And whatever color you have, this is going to end up being the shape, or the shade of your dog. So first we're going to draw our dog's face, then his ear, his neck, his legs, his tail, and all of that fun stuff. So what we want to do first is we want to start out with a pretty big circle. like that. What we want to do in front here is we're going to make off the side of our circles 2 lines that start to lead in like that. And then at the end, we're going to make it round. So this is going to be our dog's head. So we drew a big circle. And then we drew 2 lines that are kind of coming in slightly, and then a round line. Now we're going to draw our dog's ear. That's going to go right here. So for the ear, what I like to do is I draw a small little U, a really flat U, like this, and then I bring it around. So it's almost like I go up, down, up, and then I bring my 2 lines coming down, and then I connect them on the bottom. All right, so we have the rest of this paper, and I'm going to draw a large oval. I guess this is a rectangle, really, and I'm going to curve the edges of the rectangle, and this is going to be his neck. And so I'm going to cut these out and start putting it together, and then we're going to use the rest of this paper for the back part of his body. And there I have his face. I might cut his nose a little bit shorter, like that. And I'm going to cut out his ear and his neck, and then we're going to put these together, and then we'll start working on the back half. I have them cut out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue his ear right here on the back, putting it where I think it would look the best. Maybe in a little bit more, maybe up a little bit more, like that. And then what I'm going to do behind here is I'm going to glue him a neck so he can have a neck. So put some glue on here. And then now he has a neck. And then I'm going to use my markers just to add some details so you can see everything a little bit better. For his ears, I'm going to draw some lines around here just so you can see his ears a little bit better. And then I'm going to give him an eye right here. And his nose, like that. And you can cut the shape of the head if you want to change it a little bit. I think I might cut off a little bit of the top of his head like that. There we go. So now we have our face ready, and now using this back half, we're going to cut out the back of his body and his tail and his legs. So for the back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a straight line and then a circular line like that. And that's going to be the back. And then for his tail, I'm going to draw a line here, and then I'm going to draw a long, skinny triangle. And then for his legs, we're going to do something a little bit different. So for his legs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cut 2 legs at once. So I'm going to fold my paper, and then I'm going to draw his leg shape. So I'm going to draw 2 straight lines, and then I'm going to add a little circle at the bottom like that. And that's going to be his legs. So I'm going to do that on this one as well. 2 straight lines, and then a round line at the bottom. So I'm going to get these all cut out, and then we'll get the back half of our dog made. Alright, so now I'm going to take my tail, and I'm going to glue it right here, kind of at the top, like he's happy. And then I'm going to take my marker, I'm going to add 3 little lines for his feet, so you can have toes. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our sweater, and we're going to try to combine this all together. So I'm going to decide where I want my face to go. And then I'm going to use my pencil, and I'm going to draw 2 lines right here, just so I know where this comes in. So I drew 2 little lines, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a long oval like this. So I'm trimming it down just a little bit, just so it fits our dog a little bit better. And now what I can do is I can glue this on here. And I could even put his head a little bit higher up if I wanted to. So I cut out a big oval almost, and I'm going to glue my head, and then I'm going to glue the back of my dog. And if you see, it hangs over just a little bit, so I can trim those down. I'm going to glue the back of my dog right here. And if you have some paper that's hanging out like this, you can always go back and trim it a little bit so it fits a little bit better. If your sweater is a little bit too small, you can always trim. So now it fits him a lot better. And now my last step is going to be gluing down his legs. So I want 2 in the front and 2 in the back like this. So I am going to take my glue and I am going to glue these down. And then I'm actually going to use my crowns and I'm going to add a few more details. So here's my 2 in the front that I just glued down. Now I'm going to glue down my 2 in the back so our dog can have 4 legs. Pull that down a little bit. And then you can go back and add whatever kind of details you want to using your crowns. So I think I'm going to do that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some different spots and textures to him. So I think I might color in his ear a little bit more, maybe color in under his neck. So I'm going to go through, and if you wanted to give your dog spots, you could give your dog spots. Maybe I'll give him a little spot around his eye like that, and then I can color that in. So your finishing touch is using crowns to add whatever details you want to add to your dog. So I'm going to go through and just add some color onto him, just to kind of add a few more little details. Maybe some over here and at the paws. So I'm going to work on just adding a few last details, and then our wiener dog in a sweater is going to be all finished. Of course, you might use different colors than me, and that is quite all right. And I am finished. Here is our, I actually might move his legs a little farther back because I don't really love where they're at right now. So I think I'm going to take his back legs and I'm going to move them a little farther back like that. Yeah, I like that a lot more. All right, so we are done. Our wiener dog's in his sweater, our dachshund. That's another name for it. And I can't wait to see how yours come out. I will see you all next time. Have a wonderful rest of your morning, your evening, your afternoon. Bye.